Indonesia's economic rise has been driven by numerous factors, including its reliance on its natural commodities, large population, a geographic ability that it had successfully leveraged through Southeast Asian and oceanic contracts, and even its emerging manufacturing industry, which is poised to become a global powerhouse. Unfortunately, however, despite all of these profound economic data and plausible government ambitions, the economy of Indonesia is missing something. It's missing a technological industry, a sector that partakes in a nation's many industries by helping them innovate, develop, and create better quality products, or even at times push stagnant industries to miraculously expand. Technological advancement is obviously present in Indonesia. We have seen the rise of telecommunications, billion-dollar valued unicorn startups, and the fast-paced internet economy. These are, however, still strongly influenced by foreign entities, whether it is done through technology and knowledge transfers, foreign direct investments, or through mergers and acquisitions. Take, for example, the e-commerce industry of society. It is well rooted that Indonesia has given birth to local startups GoTo Group, the result of the merger of Tokopedia and Gojek. Yet their collaboration efforts are still seemingly seen as stifling, as foreign competitors that have entered the country's internet economy have been proving their worth in the consumer mindset. Singapore-based Sea Limited, which owns Shopee Indonesia, is one of them. As a foreign company, it should be noted that their presence ought to be weaker, as Indonesian people should have a strong preference to use local applications. Yet, Shopee Indonesia has a huge market share, second only to Tokopedia, but not even far from it. Numerous studies and surveys found that the two are head-to-head. Shopee Indonesia alone has established a 37% market share in the year 2021, which resulted in a gross merchandise value of about $14.2 billion $200 million more than what Tokopedia had reported, with only $14 billion. They are not even the only internet-based applications that are being strongly influenced by foreign factors. Another Singapore-based firm known as Grab is even reported to have a threatening presence against local firm Gojek. This might be why or one of the reasons for the GoTo Group to merge. The need for a more collaborative presence to fend off international competition has forced them to take action. But its merger could also indicate something more, maybe as what the company has stated about, to encapsulate the opportunity laid out before them in Southeast Asia. Still, however, we think that there is a huge focus on improving local services, which pushed their merger. These are, however, just in the internet economy of Indonesia, which is rapidly growing. The overall science, technology, and research department of the entire country are also seeing a laggard figure. Biotechnology, food and construction technology, aerospace and logistics development and research, and the overall information technology field are either still small or dominated by actual foreign investments. According to the government budget of Indonesia, the amount allocated to service the research and development sector of the country, a key indicator that shows how serious and how well the nation's technological innovations would be, one that has also played a key role in helping the economies of the four Asian tigers, known as Singapore, Taiwan, South Korea, and Hong Kong. Unfortunately, unlike these four Asian tigers, and actually compared to the developing world, Indonesia has a very tiny research and development budget, estimated to be about 36 trillion rupiahs, or just around 2.5 billion United States dollars, one that has also seen very slow growth in budget allocations every year. This equates to only about 0.31% of the nation's nominal gross domestic product. In comparison, South Korea spends nearly 4.3% of its GDP, which is estimated to be around $75 billion, a far-flung reach than Indonesia's tiny $2.5 billion. But for comparative purposes, the entire Asia-Pacific has an average of about 2.05%, which is far higher than Indonesia. This will more than likely affect the overall futuristic potential of Indonesia's innovation. After all, innovation is now more important than ever before, whether it is to stay competitive in a global market, or whether it is to at least try to keep up with neighboring countries. What the true impact of a poor-driven innovation country, however, is pretty difficult to imagine. After all, that's not to say that everything Indonesia has done is wrong. The country itself is marvelous when it comes to becoming a fast-growing economy. It has evolved into an agriculture-based economy to become a service and manufacturing-oriented nation. It has also positioned itself, if not one of the best, then the best country to invest in emerging markets. The presence of international companies may also be seen as a threat to local companies, but these, as we may indicate, also play a huge role in stirring innovation in the country. Without a tough and competitive presence, we may not even experience better product service and quality from local firms, such as Tokopedia and Gojek. Grab and Shopee's presence is also not just limited to stirring up competitive-led innovation, but also an alternative to help the economy and limit the introduction of monopolistic companies. Furthermore, this international presence has also enabled the entire internet economy to thrive. According to the research published by Bain Analysis, they found that Indonesia's internet economy is worth over $70 billion, which will soon grow to over $146 billion by 2025. This huge figure is in many ways helped by the push of the likes of Shopee, Lazada, and other international firms competing in the country. Moreover, the research and development sector of the country, while small indeed, is also flocked by international presence. Numerous high-tech manufacturing hubs, global data centers, up-and-coming electric vehicle producers are seeing massive billion-dollar value deal investments directed towards Indonesia. This will ultimately help push the overall innovation of Indonesia and its overall economy. The real problem, however, is not that these are all bad things. Not to say that foreign investments are 100% good either, but because of the fact that, at the end of the day, Indonesia still needs to be independent when it comes to innovation. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done for the country to be on track to become a global leader. After all, Indonesia is poised to become one of the biggest economies in the entire world in the coming decades. But with lagging innovation, can it truly become a country that would become a true economic superpower? Research done by the World Intellectual Property Organization, or WIPO for short, has established a report named the Global Innovation Index 2021, which looks at 132 economies and ranks them based on 81 indicators. The report found that the best-performing countries are ranked on the top lists. East Asian nations such as South Korea, Japan, and China are among the top ranked in the Asian continent, whereas Indonesia is ranked 87th, which puts the country in similar positions, such as lagging South American nations and African countries. The Philippines and Malaysia are ranked 51st and 36th respectively. The same research has also found that there's a direct relationship between innovation and development, meaning that the higher the innovation levels, the more development occurs within the society of one's nation. Top-performing countries that are not so heavily reliant on commodity-based economies have even found huge success in technological developments. What is more necessary is that Indonesia and its ambitious government have even set their sights and named the country's manufacturing industry, service, and agriculture to level up its production and productivity rate. Research and development main roles are related to such, but without proper governing and budget allocations, the seemingly ambitious targets would be difficult to achieve. Things, however, could still change. Hiking up more budget into a small industry is no difficult feat. Maybe Indonesia is just focusing on traditional sectors for the most part, in order to settle its society and prepare its economy for a bigger boost in the coming future, which could also be one of the reasons why this is still a lagging industry. The questions, debates, and conversations as to what led Indonesia's government to limit such, however, are rather difficult to answer, as politics is often plagued by numerous factors, not limited to one's opinion. But if Indonesia is truly going to become what it aspires to be, an export-oriented nation just like other Asian tigers, focused on emerging technologies and riding the waves of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which are all crucial in enabling the next generation of economies, then the need for more investments and better policies to favor local startups and companies to innovate is necessary. After all, research and development is going to be needed when it comes to solving Indonesia's logistic problems, plagued by its geographic stance, its fight with the next generation of aerospace technology, and how it would enable the construction and food industry to be more fast-paced, and in conjunction with international presence, and how it will also enable the government themselves to adapt to use the digital world. Anyway, what do you think?